In my life, I've faced many challenges and moments of loss, but I never imagined that betrayal could hurt so much. It's painful when years of hard work and love are completely disregarded. But my story is not just about betrayal. It's a story about defending honor and values. It all began with one word from my wife's mouth, Grant. Before I tell you what happened between my wife, me, and this man, don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. My name is Caleb. I'm 52 years old, and I've worked hard all my life to build my business. I lost my father when I was young, but I managed to take over a small garage and turn it into the business it is today. I own a small car dealership. It's not luxurious, but it's something I built with my own hands. People know me for my honesty, and that means everything to me. I met Ella 25 years ago when she was a second-year law student. I admired her intelligence, ambition, and strength in the face of adversity. We fell in love and married quickly. Our life wasn't perfect, but it was strong. I worked hard to help her finish her law studies and raise our children, Jake and Ryan. I played the role of both father and mother while she built her successful career. I focused on growing my business and seeing my family happy. Then, last year, everything changed. Ella received an offer from a major law firm with a higher salary and a more prestigious position, complete with an office overlooking the city. She was thrilled and couldn't stop talking about her new boss, Grant. Grant is an amazing leader and very smart, she said. I wasn't the jealous type, and I trusted her after all we had been through in 25 years together. But soon, I noticed small changes. She started dressing more elegantly, wore unfamiliar perfumes, and kept staring at her phone, as if hiding something. I thought there might be a logical explanation, perhaps work stress. Then, her working hours got longer. Business dinners became more frequent, and weekend activities increased. I began to feel suffocated by the fake calm on her face whenever I asked her about it. But the real shock came the night I decided to confront her. After waiting hours for her to come home, I couldn't hold it in any longer. Ella, something's wrong, isn't it? I asked, my voice calm, but inside, I was a storm. At first, she tried to deny it, but I pressed her, and eventually, she admitted it. Yes, she said. I've been having an affair with Grant. In that moment, my world crumbled. 25 years of marriage, the responsibility of raising 2 children, all the sacrifices, gone in an instant. But what hurt most was the lack of remorse on her face. But this wasn't the end. The real story had just begun. After Ella's confession, my life fell apart, but staying silent wasn't in my nature. For days, the word, I had an affair with Grant, echoed in my mind. The life I had built, a marriage based on loyalty and hard work, was destroyed by the arrogance of one man and Ella's betrayal. But I wasn't going to let it end like this. If Grant thought he was a real man, I was going to show him just how wrong he was. I wanted to see the look on his face when I drove to work that morning. As I pulled into the dealership, a plan began to form in my mind. She had said Grant was a leader. Well, my idea of leadership was about sacrifice, honor, and integrity, everything Grant didn't know about. If he needed to be tested, I was more than willing to oblige. Around noon, Grant appeared at my dealership, dressed in an expensive suit with a smug smile. Without hesitation, he walked into my office, took a seat opposite me, and crossed his legs like he was in control. Caleb, he began in a condescending tone. I think it's time we handle this like men. Real men. His words sent shivers down my spine, but I stayed calm. We've reached an understanding, he continued. Your life with her is over. I can give her the life she deserves. And you, he paused, giving me a disdainful look. You're just a lowly car salesman. If you sign these papers, we can settle this amicably. He placed a thick envelope on my desk. The papers were a divorce and a restraining order. Ella had already signed them. If you sign too, everything will be settled. If not, his voice dropped, I have a team of 20 lawyers ready to destroy everything. Your career, your home, everything you care about. That's when my anger exploded. I stood up, leaned over the table, and said, "You wanted to be a real man, didn't you? Let me show you what a real man looks like." Before he could respond, my fist slammed into his face. I heard a crunch as his nose shattered, and he collapsed to the ground. Shock and pain were all over his face. "Listen carefully," I said as he lay on the floor, blood dripping from his face. "This is my story, my life. You and Ella destroyed my marriage, but you won't destroy me. If you ever threaten me again, it will be the biggest regret of your life." Grant hurriedly got up and left without a word. But that was just the beginning. I still had to face Ella and settle this once and for all. When I got home that evening, Ella was sitting in the living room. I'll never forget the look on her face. Was it guilt or regret? I couldn't tell, but one thing was clear. My love for her was gone. Living under the same roof felt unbearable. "I need to ask you something, Ella," I said calmly, though my anger was barely contained. "After 25 years, all the sacrifices, all the memories, all the effort, does it even matter anymore? It doesn't make sense." She lowered her head, staying silent. After a long pause, she took a deep breath and spoke. "Caleb, you have to understand, I've changed. I want more. I feel stuck. Grant says he can give me the life I want." Hearing his name again made me clench my fists. "The life you want? Did you ever tell me you didn't want this life? Your happiness meant everything to me. But instead of talking to me, you're living a lie." Her face turned defensive, and she became slightly angry. "Yes, I made a mistake, but there's nothing between Grant and me anymore. When he told me you hit him in the office, I didn't even defend him." Her words didn't calm my anger. They only fueled it. "Grant is no longer the problem. You are. Our marriage is over, Ella. You and I are over." Her face twisted with hurt, and tears welled up in her eyes, but they didn't move me. I had wiped away her tears for years. Now, her remorse meant nothing. "Don't do this to me, Caleb. I love you," she said, her voice trembling, but her words felt empty. "If you loved me, Ella," I said firmly, "you wouldn't have done this to me." And that was the end of the story. "Tomorrow morning, all your things will be at the door. I've cut off your access to our accounts. Take what you need and go. We're finished." Her panic gave me a strange sense of satisfaction. The woman who had belittled me and sought alternatives was now desperately searching for a way out. "You can't do this to me," she mumbled. "I'll hire a lawyer and take everything from you." I smiled quietly and pulled out the divorce papers from my jacket. "If you sign them, you won't lose anything. You'll only get what you want. But if you push me, I'll push back. Don't forget who I am, Ella. I won't let you forget." I saw real frustration on her face. She knew the weight of my words. She picked up the document, read it silently, and tears welled up in her eyes. But this time, I didn't lift a finger to wipe them away. The next morning, she was gone. The house was empty.